To become legendary, a work must have a significant impact on real life. So, if you ask about the impact of Death Note, I can tell you that it has taught millions of people, myself included, what morality truly means, and it has sparked deep reflections on the nature of justice and human behavior. Today, if someone who has never watched anime asks for a recommendation, Death Note is the first thing I suggest. Not only because it has fewer episodes compared to other anime, but also because it excels in various aspects, which I'll detail shortly. In my opinion, it's still the best choice for anyone starting out with anime. Now, let's talk about the artwork. I can't overlook how legendary the artwork of Death Note is, especially for the year it was released. The visuals have always seemed melancholic to me, which I really enjoy. For example, Ryuk might not be handsome or likable, but he has a strange charisma. If we set aside the artwork for a moment, let's dive into the mind games, like chess, that are featured in the series. In this anime, it feels like a real chess match is being played. The two opposing sides aren't just playing pre-designed mind games. One makes a move, and the other genuinely responds. For example, at the beginning of the series, L broadcasts TV in different regions at different times to find out where Kira lives. When I saw that, I thought, wow, that's brilliant, really, because it's a method that could be used in real life. While it might be impossible today due to social media, it was feasible back then. This is just one example. Another achievement of Death Note is the fantastical universe it creates, full of mysteries. The theme of death gods, for instance, is brilliantly executed. The fact that death gods don't know much about their own death notes adds a great layer of mystery. It's like a magic trick. If you learn all the details, it loses its charm. I'm glad the series didn't reveal everything about its universe and maintained that mysterious atmosphere. I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much if they had done otherwise. Death Note is also incredibly successful in its music. Speaking of which, I can't skip over the opening. Both the music and the visuals in the opening sequence are, in my opinion, of legendary quality. I won't delve into the metaphors and allegorical elements in detail, as that would make this discussion far too long, and likely bore many of you. However, I can't overlook their quality. The same goes for the references within the series, especially those to human history, which are incredibly well done. Now I want to move on to the clearest reason why I'm a fan of Death Note: the ethics and morality it explores. Death Note delves into countless philosophical questions, tackling the judge or executioner debate. This world is not a fair place. It's easy to see that. Life is full of evil, and sometimes those who do wrong go unpunished. These unaccounted-for evils make us question the concept of justice. So how should we fight this injustice in the world? Should we accept the unfair nature of the world and submit to evil? Or should we punish these wrongdoers through the legal system? Or should we, like for like, respond to evil with evil to achieve justice? The philosophy of Death Note offers powerful insights into these questions. The perspectives on morality, justice, and the concepts of good and evil are further enriched by the ideas of philosophers like Plato and Bernard Phillips. Light Yagami, a highly intelligent and successful high school student, notices a book falling from the window during class one day. After class, he picks up the book, which has Death Note written on it. The book comes with instructions, claiming that if a person's name is written in it, that person will die. Light tests this on a criminal, and when the person whose name he wrote dies shortly after, he realizes the notebook really works. But Light doesn't stop at killing just one person. With such power in his hands, he decides to use it in the service of a higher ideal. He begins writing the names of criminals in the notebook in quick succession. He also wants the world to know about his actions, but he knows he can't do it under his real name. So he starts operating under the alias Kira, quickly gaining a massive following. Kira takes this to such an extreme that he becomes more effective than the country's legal system. Before questioning whether Kira represents justice, we need to understand what justice truly means. In The Republic, Plato discusses the concept of justice, recognizing that its function isn't necessarily to do good, but rather to scare people away from committing crimes through the threat of punishment. The story of the Ring of Gyges in this book helps us better understand this idea. Gyges, an ordinary shepherd who wouldn't harm anyone, finds a ring in a cave that makes him invisible when worn. With this newfound power, he seduces the king's wife, kills the king, and crowns himself king. So why does a man who would normally do no harm becomes so ruthless with the power of invisibility. Plato observes that people are more cowardly than moral, and what prevents them from committing crimes is not their virtue, but the fear of being exposed and punished. Plato leaves us with the somewhat unsettling question: can we remain moral when no one is watching? Like Gyges. Although this question might lead us to a pessimistic view of human nature, it also shows that the justice system works in practice, reducing evil. Even if the system is based on an insincere sense of goodness, it can prevent people from doing wrong because those who commit crimes are scared by the possibility of exposure and punishment. Therefore, a malicious person might be hesitant to commit evil acts, knowing that the justice system is watching. Kira also believes in this practical aspect of the justice system. However, instead of punishing crimes with imprisonment, he has a harsher method: killing criminals. Initially, Kira's controversial method works. With Kira's execution of criminals, the crime rate in the country begins to drop, motivating him even more. But Kira becomes fanatical and ruthless in his pursuit of this ideal, even killing innocent people who pose a threat to his vision. He doesn't hesitate to manipulate his girlfriend to deceive the police. But there's something strange here. Before finding the Death Note and taking on the Kira persona, Light Yagami didn't seem like someone who would do these unethical things. In fact, in one episode, when he relinquishes ownership of the notebook, the memories of his experiences with it disappear. The difference between Light with his memory erased and Kira is as stark as black and white. Yes, Light's encounter with the Death Note changed him. As a man devoted to a deeply valued ideal, he likely sees these unethical actions as necessary. However, the fact that he can remain anonymous while carrying out these actions also emboldens him. When a person realizes that no one is watching their actions and that they can get away with anything, their darker side is more likely to surface. But Kira uses his dark side so recklessly that, combined with his thirst for power, it turns him into a completely different person. So, is Kira's ideal of a just world even possible? Can a world completely free of crime and evil be created? This is where the character L comes into play. He works with the police trying to catch Kira and is just as intelligent as Kira. Like Kira, he also uses an alias. However, L and the people around him don't believe in Kira's vision of a just world. They think it's impossible to create a world free of crime. Moreover, L and his team disapprove of Kira's methods for achieving this ideal. So, while Kira tries to bring justice by killing criminals, L tries to achieve justice by stopping Kira. For L, Kira's actions don't bring about justice, but rather increase the world's injustice. L's understanding of justice is actually similar to the views of philosopher Williams. Those who possess the notebook with an idealistic approach, like Kira, cling to their ideals with great passion because they are result-oriented. They believe that these actions will create a better world, so they don't hesitate to trample on ethical values to achieve their goals. But Williams criticizes this method by saying, it is wrong to evaluate an action based on its outcome. No matter how good the outcome may seem, if the action itself involves evil, it should not be done. To L, no matter how well-intentioned Kira's ideal is, the actions he takes are evil, which makes Kira a criminal. Let's look at this from a different perspective. If Kira had succeeded and reduced the world's injustice, would L or others like him have accepted Kira's actions as good? Is Kira someone who, like Gyges, chooses evil when given the chance? Here, Kira touches on an interesting point. The concepts of good and evil that we distinguish between also depend on their circumstances. Can we really call someone like Gyges evil? After all, he exploited the power of invisibility. But if he hadn't put on that ring, he likely wouldn't have committed those sins. And perhaps the good people around us wouldn't remain true to their virtues if they had a ring like Gyges. If Kira had succeeded in creating a just world order and reducing crime to zero, he might have fit the definition of good. But the turning point here is Kira's method of achieving justice. For L and the characters on his side, no matter the goal, killing someone to achieve it is unacceptable. Death Note shows that creating a just world is an ideal that humanity has always aspired to. While there are those who, like Kira, argue that taking lives is necessary to achieve justice, Others believe that responding to evil with evil is wrong. However, the anime doesn't provide a clear answer about which side we should be on. But from the first episode to the last, it shows us this. No matter how noble your values in creating justice may be, if you sacrifice your moral principles to achieve this goal, you will eventually become part of the injustice yourself.